Hey everybody, my name is Dévi and welcome to Book Connoisseur. I'm gonna do the mid-year freakout tag for 2024. Let's just get started. First question is, what's your favorite book you've read so far in 2024? I'm pretty lucky because I've been having a really great reading year. I was looking through all the books I've read and I've given out quite a few 5 stars. It'll be interesting how I narrow them down at the end of the year, but for the purposes of this video, right at this moment, best book I've read so far this year is Big Swiss by Jen Beagin. This book was such a surprise. I laughed out loud. This book follows Greta as she is on a sort of a quasi midlife crisis exploration where she moves across the country and she gets a job transcribing for a therapist, and she ends up falling for one of the patients. And I thought it was such a bizarre premise and I just loved it. I seriously was laughing out loud. Like, Greta is an incredibly written character, and I really enjoyed myself. Question 2. What's the best sequel you've read so far this year? So this was a pretty easy answer because I've only read one sequel this year, and that was Casting Off by Elizabeth Jane Howard. This is the 4th book, I believe the 4th book in the Cazalet Chronicles. This series tells the story of a family living in England. They sort of go between London and rural England. The series tells their stories from right after World War I going into World War II. And you get a whole host of characters. There are all these brothers and their kids, their wives, their parents, and it's really interesting. And there's one book left. There's 5 total, and I'm saving that for the end of this year because I don't want it to end, and I definitely foresee myself going back to these. If you're a historical fiction person, I highly, highly, highly recommend this. The first book is called The Light Years by Elizabeth Jane Howard, and it was just such a delight. The next question, a new release book that you haven't read yet. I'm gonna go with Little Rot by Akwaeke Emezi because I love this cover. I think it's so cool. I don't know anything about it. I know I'm gonna read it because I love their other book, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Your most anticipated release for the second half of 2024. This is an easy one because this is the only book I'm letting myself buy in hardback for the rest of the year, and that is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. If you like mystery crime, this is for you. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I loved Long Bright River by Liz Moore. Absolutely devoured that book. I've been hearing amazing things about The God of the Woods, but people can't put it down. They're staying up late reading it, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on it. As I'm filming this today, which is, I don't even know what the day is, July 2nd, the book is out. So run to your store, go grab it, run to the library, although you probably won't get it at the library because I'm sure there's a waiting list. I'll read you a little bit from the blurb. Early morning, August 1975, a camp counselor discovers an empty bunk. Its occupant, Barbara Van Laar, has gone missing. That's all you need. Come on, perfect summer read. What's been your biggest surprise so far this year? My biggest surprise, for sure, has been You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. I loved this book, and I am not a romance girly. That is not me. Although this is making me question all of my decisions. I even went out and bought an Emily Henry book, which is like, who am I? We'll find out. This book follows Faye 5 years after the death of her husband in a tragic accident, as she is dipping her toe into the dating world, and she gets whisked away to a Caribbean island by a suitor, if you will. She has an instant attraction to his dad, and his dad is this famous chef, and she has this incredible career opportunity. She's an artist, and you follow along from there. So I highly recommend it if you haven't read it already. I would be surprised if you haven't, because I've only heard good things. Who is your new favorite author? This isn't so much a favorite author as it is going to be someone whose books I always will read. I will always pick up her books because I really like her writing. I like her ideas, her storytelling. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I really like her ideas. I like her storytelling, and that is Coco Mellors. I also have to say, the way this book and her books in general are marketed is just brilliant. I feel like the covers look like her personality on her Instagram, and the consistency is everything. And these beautiful paintings that are on her books are by Jill Button. But yeah, I just absolutely devoured this book. It's not that little either, and I cannot wait to get Blue Sisters, but I said one hardback a year, and so I'm waiting for that to come out in paperback. Your newest fictional crush. Now, this is not something I understood when I was first starting to see these videos this year. I don't really crush on fictional characters that much, but then I read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Sorry, dog. And I met, hi, this is Clover. Say hi, Chloe. Hi, girl. Hi, my girl. Hi, my sweet baby dog. Say hi to my handful of the world that's watching this video. Oh, you're coming up. Oh, boy. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, boy. Oh, okay. Thank you, sweetheart. I'll start again. Your newest fictional crush. Again, I did not understand this, and then I read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, and I met Aleem Blake. Cook for me, please. He's a professional chef. The mango scene? Anyway, guess you have to read it to find out. And your new favorite fictional character. Now, this is not that fun because I've already mentioned how much I love her, but I will say it again. Greta from Big Swiss. I mean, brilliant, hilarious. I loved it. Everything about her. She's so funny. And just, the thing about it is the consistency of her character. Like, every situation you find her in, however bizarre, you're like, yes, that is exactly what she would do. And I loved that consistency. I thought Jen Began is an amazing writer. I cannot wait to get to her backlist. A book that made you cry. Shuggie Bain. I mean, surprise, surprise, this made me cry. This was so incredibly beautiful. This is a story about a boy and his mom and their family and his mother's incredibly serious struggles with alcoholism. And what I thought was so beautiful in here was that the love between them was so evident even through the struggles and the hardships and the sometimes incredibly awful way she treated her family. The love Shuggie had for his mom was just the sweetest. And if I think about it a little too much, I'll probably start crying again. If you haven't read this, I highly recommend, but be prepared to cry. It is not a happy book. A book that made you happy. Can I mention it a third time? Okay, that's all I need to say. The most beautiful books you bought this year. So, I'm gonna say story-wise, like Shuggie Bain was really a beautiful story. Got into this really complicated feeling, but you totally understood how Shuggie was feeling as a child. And this book was inspired by Douglas Stewart's own life as a kid. Shuggie just pulled at my heartstrings the entire time, and I just thought it was so incredibly moving. It really captures that often complicated relationship between a child and a troubled parent. Physically beautiful books. I have here this copy of Wolf Song by TJ Klune that I'm reading for July Book Club, and look at these edges. You know, I wasn't planning on buying this book, but then I saw it sitting there. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and I just thought it was gorgeous. Yeah, and it made me really excited to read it, and the best part is I saw all of these there in their exclusive editions, and if I like this, I'm planning on getting them all. Like, how cool would that look sitting on a shelf? The last question, books you need to read by the end of the year. Okay, I was thinking about it, and yeah, like, I can read whatever I want. I don't need to read anything, but if this year goes by and I do not read Demon Copperhead, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have to freaking read Demon Copperhead. Can you believe I still haven't read it? I can't. Anyway, yeah, that's my book I need to read by the end of the year because it is high time I read that book. I hope you enjoyed this. I will list the questions below. I am tagging all of you watching this. If you haven't filmed this already, I'd love to see yours. I've been really enjoying watching these on other people's channels. And if you like this video, please give me a like. What book are you most looking forward to reading this year? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to watch my best books of the year so far video, please hit subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of my little handful of the internet. I'll be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.